Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Elements of Success. I'm your host, Talha Jarad. We are talking about success, how to achieve it, how to maximize our success in life. And as a matter of fact, as Muslims, we talk about success from a broader perspective, how to achieve the maximum not only in life and to get to the utmost level that we could get at and to unleash our potential in life, but also to get the maximum in the hereafter. Now, we are talking about the secret of success, the components of success, how to achieve it, how to attain it, the tools, the principles, the laws that govern this universe. And we said before that there are some universal laws. These universal laws, well, there are physical universal laws and there are mental universal laws. The physical universal laws we all believe in, like the law of gravity. We all live in this and we experience it and we know it, so we have no problem with it. But a lot of people do not understand or realize the mental universal laws. And we mentioned before some of these mental universal laws, and we also discussed the concept of grand universal laws. And we said there are three grand universal laws. We mentioned before the law of intention as one of the most important laws in this universe. Now today we're going to discuss another important law, one of the three grand universal laws. It's called the law of absolute justice. Now this might sound a little bit strange to some people, but yes, there is an absolute justice of what happens to you in life. Now, I know there are people who live their life and say, well, life is not fair, probably this, probably that. But in reality, everything is an absolute justice in this universe. Anything that happens to you happens because of something that you've done, something that you've committed, something that you did before, so you're paying back only the price. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this. He said, whatever a misfortune strikes you is what your hands have earned, is what your hands have earned. And he said also immediately after that, and he forgives much. Now, this means that whatever you get in your life is because of what you have done in the past. Now, if you hurt somebody physically, let's say, before, or emotionally for that matter, you said a word to somebody, you probably never thought of it. You probably didn't think much about it. But as time passes by, even though you forget it, you probably don't remember it, but it's kept there, and later on you're going to pay the price, probably years down the road, probably 10, 15, 20 years down the road. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, your Lord wrongs no one. Your Lord wrongs no one. Allah will never wrong you. It's us that wrong ourselves. And whatever happens to us happens because we committed something in the past. Now the importance of this thing is that, well, if we understand this concept and if we understand this law, our life will completely change. Now we will see life differently, and we will look at life in a different perspective. Everything that happens to you, you start to ask yourself, well, what did I do before? What did I commit before that caused this thing to befall upon me? There must be something in my life that I did to a person or to my relationship with Allah, and that's now where I'm paying the price for this thing. Now, if we understand this very clearly, now we will be able to focus our energy on ourselves and try to gain as much as we can control of what we do and try to plan our life according to this universal law. Now, the importance of this thing is that if you understand this concept, which is the law of justice, the absolute justice as a matter of fact, then first of all, you don't harm anybody, whether physically or, as we said, emotionally. You know, a lot of people sometimes do not pay attention to the things that they say to other people. They really do not think much about, you know, saying a word to let's say, somebody. And it might be sometimes a joke. You might sometimes say something to somebody and you just joke about it, but you hurt that person. You hurt him so much, or her so much, that, you know, they might stay for, you know, staying up at night for days and days and days, and you don't realize it. You just said it, and you never thought of it. But the Prophet explained to us that this law of justice works not only in this life, but also in the hereafter. And this is the dangerous part about this law, because if you do not understand this concept, you might lose both ways, God forbid. Now, the Prophet told the companions once, listen to this. This explains the law in a very amazing way. Once the Prophet told the companion, do you know who the bankrupt is? They said, well, the bankrupt is the one who has no money. That's the interpretation, and that's the definition of a bankrupt. He said, no, the bankrupt of my nation is the one who comes in the day of judgment with lots of good deeds, with prayers, with charity, with this and that. But look at this. He comes in the day of judgment also, and he hit that person, he harmed that person, he hurt that person. So this one will take some of his good deeds, that person will get some of his good deeds, and the other one will take also another portion of his good deeds. And if he runs out of good deeds, he will take out of their bad deeds, and it will be thrown on him, then he will be thrown into hell. Can you think of this? Somebody coming with good deeds, doing a lot of work in life, praying, paying charity, doing this, doing that, but because he never thought of this law of justice, that he's going to pay back whatever he does to other people, he ends up in hellfire. Now, this brings us to another point, that you should think of yourself as lucky if things happen to you in your life because of what you've done to others, because this means that you're going to pay it in this life and you're not going to pay it in the hereafter. And also it makes you think of what you do towards other people. So if you do a mistake, you either apologize, you ask for forgiveness. Even the tiny little thing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to us, even the tiny little things, you're going to pay for it. He said, as we all know, whoever does an atom's weight of good will see it then, that's in the hereafter. And whoever does an atom's weight of bad, he will see it then, that's in the hereafter. So even the tiny little things that you might sometimes don't pay attention to, that might sometimes, well, look at it, well, it was easy, it wasn't a big deal. But in the day of judgment, we will all pay for the things that we've committed towards ourselves or towards other people. Now, if you understand this law, you will be able to map everything that happens to you in your life to what you've done in the past. And you can immediately, once something happened to you, you can think, oh, well, what did I do? What did I do before? Well, I think, oh, I did this to this person, and now I'm paying it back. And this makes you more aware of yourself, more aware of the things that you do to yourself or towards others. By the way, the law of justice also works with your relationship with Allah. So it works with your relationship with Allah and with your relationship with people. So whatever you do to yourself, whatever you wrong yourself, whether that's in the relationship with Allah or the relationship with others, you will pay it. Whether in this life, as we said, by things happening to you, or probably in the worst case scenario in the hereafter. So be careful, be extremely careful of what you do to other people. This is very critical, this is very important. And this is also very important in achieving success, because when you plan your success and you want to achieve maximum in life, you have to have in mind that, as we said before, we want to get the achievement in this life and the hereafter. So you have to understand that you do not do mistakes towards others, so that impacts you in this life and probably in the hereafter. And that's very critical. Again, Remember, we say in this law of absolute justice that anything that happens to you happens because of what you've committed, because what you've done before. So that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to us even, that we're going to see in this life and in the hereafter things according to what we do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to us that, to explain this concept, because this law not only works this way on you as an individual, but also works on things that happen to you. Now, if somebody wrongs you or does harm you or oppress you or transgress against you, well, be assured that this person will pay for his transgression, will pay for his oppression, and that relieves you. That takes away a lot of tension, a lot of stress, anxiety out of your heart, out of your mind, because now you know that, well, at least if you can get back at this person, which we don't recommend, of course, but you have the right to do so, as Islam gave us the right to take your right back, of course, using the legal system and using all the civilized ways. But the point is that you have the right. If somebody wronged you, you have the right to get from him something out of this, and that gives you back what you've lost. Now, the point that we're trying to make here is that if somebody transgresses against you or oppresses you, and you know for sure that there is an absolute justice in this universe and the hereafter, you feel relieved. Allah said, deem not that Allah is unaware of what the wicked or the evil do, but He gives them a time till the day of judgment, which is, he explained, the day when their eyes stare in terror. Their eyes stare in terror. So Allah is saying that those who transgress, those who commit things towards other people, will not be let go that easily. Even if you see it in this life and see, well, they are enjoying themselves and enjoying their lives, and probably you sometimes think, well, they getting anything, they are not getting anything back for their mistakes or their wrongdoings towards other people, their evil work towards other people. Rest assured, nothing gets erased. Nothing will not be nothing will go away. Allah will get back at them, not necessarily in this life, but in the hereafter. And this is more severe than what they see in this life. So this is the other application of the law of justice, is that whenever you know this, you feel relieved. As a matter of fact, the Prophet told us that we have to be careful about what we do to other people. That he said that the prayer of the oppressed person is going to be answered, irrespective whether he is Muslim or non-Muslim. If somebody is oppressed, his prayers will be answered by Allah. If somebody oppressed, let's say, even if a Muslim oppressed a non-Muslim, and that non-Muslim prayed to Allah to take back or to revenge for him, Allah will answer this non-Muslim. And finally, this also works on the society, the law of justice. The Prophet told us, as you are, you will be governed. Your rulers will come out of the fact who you are. So let's think of this all the time, that this law of absolute justice works in the individual, whether you do it, somebody does something to you, or even in the society as a whole. Whoever we are, we will be governed and we will be ruled by. This is the law of absolute justice. Think about it in everything you do, and always keep it in mind. Thank you for watching. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.